What is up, NFC East football fans, and welcome into another edition of the NFC East Roundtable. The 53-man rosters are set. Good thing we go live on a Tuesday because they were set in stone just a couple of hours ago. On tonight's episode, we'll dive into the 53-man roster for all four teams on the NFC East. Any surprises? Any names that we need to know about, we will get into those this evening. And of course, with the season starting within the division, a week from Thursday, we will have our NFC East preview coming your way on the back half of the episode, including, the divisional predictions. I'm speechless because I'm so excited for football. The divisional predictions on the second half of the show coming your way, which I'm looking forward to. Can't wait to see what everybody has to say. The last time we got into a debate, it went crazy when we were talking quarterbacks, so we'll see if we can match that when we talk about the divisional standing. So without further ado, let's bring in the gang. J Tuck, KB, Simone, and Rhea. I literally lost my voice there for a second, guys, because I'm a week away, and I don't know, I'm just that excited. So I know you guys are too. It's happened to me again. I don't know what's going on. My throat's
you good? You good, brother? Are you good?
My God. Hey, listen, here's the beauty of it. If I die on camera, at least we have documentation. At least, so we can, call the ambulance or whatnot. But I think
there was definitely a joke to have there, but I'm gonna let it slide.
Be the bigger man. Be the bigger man. Rio's good at that, by the way. You've been really good at that recently, just kind of letting it slide. But
restraint.
Is it a DeMar Hamlin one?
Oh, no. KB is really reaching. KB,
no, that is exactly what I was talking about.
I just kind of connected the Buffalo Bills and.
You see the vision. See, this is how we rock with each other. KB.
You guys are on the same wavelength. I love it. All right, well, we'll talk about a lot tonight, including J Tuck's Cowboys. We were talking off camera. Jerry Jones making the rounds. He's on tour, as J Tuck said, so we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about what we saw in the final preseason game last weekend, but I want to start with the 53-man rosters. That is the latest news out of the NFL. Those get set in stone this afternoon, and that means we're right around the corner with all of the cuts being set in place. So, J Tuck, I'm going to start with you here. Your Dallas Cowboys. Any surprises with the 53-man roster? And beyond that, anybody make the squad that we need to know about, somebody that could be a factor for Dallas that might not be a household name?
Yeah, I don't think there was too many surprises. I mean, Cowboys Nation follows me. You should have been up to date and up to speed with everything. But, I think the one that really got a lot of Cowboys fans concerned was Trayshawn Holden. Trayshawn Holden was our undrafted rookie wide receiver at the University of Oregon. And he showed some upside at camp, also in preseason, but didn't get a lot of reps, never really moved up the depth chart. So he was released. So we'll have to sit back and see if he's claimed by waiver wires or not. I know a lot of Cowboys fans are kind of on edge about that. Deuce Vaughn, which is our cute and cuddly draft story a few years ago, he was finally released. His father was a scout for the Dallas Cowboys, but he was finally let go. And I felt like Deuce Vaughn, even though he had an incredible year and career at Kansas State, it just never really worked out at the NFL level. So they had to make a move.
There?
Huh?
Is his dad still there?
Yeah, his dad's still. Yeah, Chris is still our scout. He's one of our top scouts. You know what I'm saying?
How you think that conversation got? Hey, man.
Yeah,
talk about your boy.
As diabolical as Jerry is, he probably made his dad deliver the. You know what I'm saying? You gonna tell him. You know what I'm saying? You never know with Jerry. So I think Deuce being cut. We kind of saw it coming, but I think that was one that really kind of stood out was Trayshawn Holden and also Deuce Vaughn, but also Israel Mukuamu. He was released. He's been with the Cowboys for 4 years out of South Carolina. I mean, he has size, length, athleticism, but he never found a position. Is he going to be an outside corner? Is he going to be a safety? So the fact that he was released kind of scratched a few heads, but overall, no major surprises when it comes to the Cowboys. Now, I think the big surprise that I think is going to have impact is the guy who I really liked coming out of the draft. I believe it was in 2022 out of the University of Oklahoma was Perion Winfrey. Perion Winfrey was drafted by the Cleveland Browns, had some off the field stuff, had to go to the UFL, and the Dallas Cowboys brought him in, but he had worked his way back on, and he made the roster as a defensive tackle. And I've been trying to tell Cowboys fans this, if you compare and contrast him between Mozzie Smith, Perion Winfrey is a much more upside potential than Mozzie Smith, right? I loved his film coming out of OU. So that was a guy kind of came from the UFFL, got a second chance, and made the roster. But also another guy, undrafted guy in Zion Childress. was a corner out of the University of Kentucky, and I was very high on this kid in the draft. He snuck his way on the roster, and to the possibility, depending on what happens with Trayvon Diggs' return, Zion Childress could be a possible starter week 1 versus the Eagles as our inside corner. So to work your way up from the undrafted ranks to possibly being a day 1 starter is an incredible story for Zion Childress. But he's scrappy, but I think it's a tall ask to ask him to go against, Smitty and A.J. Brown out the gate. But Brian Schottenheimer just spoke about it and say, hey, if I picked you to be on this roster, it's because I believe on you. I'm just like, all right, well, that's a cool story, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. So overall, I'm okay with the final 53, and I think there's going to be a few guys who will probably bring back as veterans. We got Javonte Williams as our running back, Miles Sanders, Jaden Blue, and then Phil Maffa. They did a sneaky IR shoulder injury out of the blue all of a sudden, so they can hold on to its rights. But overall, good roster management for the Dallas Cowboys with the final 53.
Real quick, Jay Tuck, I don't know what it is about the number 31, but every single preseason game the Cowboys were a part of the last 3 weeks had a 31 for one of the teams. Luckily for Dallas to finish things off, they were on the winning side this time, 31-13 over the Falcons. Anything stand out to you there? I know you were concerned with the effort the first 2 weeks. Did it look better, at least in week 3, heading into the season here?
It was higher effort, but of course these are guys that are all on the fringe, right? So they were playing for the live. So, I really don't read too much into it. The one takeaway I will say is that we did finally get to see our rookie running back in Jaden Blue. He looked like he had some bursts, got into the end zone. I think he even had a little ankle injury, but he's okay. And I know we talked about it last week, but Joe Milton seemed to settle in a little bit more. He wasn't smashing that pass button all the way in to his controller cracks. He's putting a little touch on some of his passes. So, Brian Schottenheimer was more intentional with his play calling. I felt like it's called more like a real game. And Joe Milton made some incredible throws, right? So you saw the talented. I feel like what we have to do is stabilize Joe Milton. Is like you'll see an incredible drive and then you'll see a horrible drive, right? It needs to be more consistent from Joe Milton's end. And I think one of the things also that stood out in that preseason game is, Mozzie Smith, who was our former first-round pick, played all the way into deep in the fourth quarter in the preseason game number 3, which is kind of rare, right? So it lets me know the Dallas Cowboys really, even though they'll tell us they believe in Mozzie, they have all the faith in Mozzie, they're not really sold on Mozzie Smith that he's playing all the way in the fourth quarter as a potential starter. So I think those were the things that really stood out in that last preseason game versus the Falcons.
And unfortunately, I preface this every time I bring it up, but it just feels like every week when we get to another show, we have another Jerry Jones episode to talk about. But this one is even more unique than usual. He quite literally, and you phrased it perfectly, he's gone on tour. He sat down with just about anybody who had a camera and a microphone. And this past week, it was the most public platforms you could find, and it was all anybody was talking about. It seems to get even more interesting when Trey Hendrickson gets his deal done with Cincinnati just yesterday. And we'll talk in a second here with Rio about them getting things done with Terry McLaurin. But Micah Parsons, of course, still not under contract. We haven't heard from Micah Parsons, but we've heard plenty from Jerry Jones. Where are you at now here at J-Tuck? We're just a little over a week away. What's the word? What do you think happens here?
Ideally for Micah Parsons being one of the best defensive players and not NFL players in the league, right? Top 10, whether you want to talk about offense or defense, he deserves his money. But I spoke to Cowboys Nation today in a video, and I was like, you know what? I'm at the point where I don't care, outside of that, because it doesn't help us on the field. So let's say, for instance, Micah Parsons gets signed this Friday. He's not going to be ready for week 1 versus Philadelphia. He's going to be on a pitch count. So you're not going to get Micah Parsons. You might get Michael Parsons, who Jerry Jones kept calling him on national TV. That might be the person who's out there, but it's damn sure not going to be the Micah Parsons that we need to beat Philly, beat Washington, and possibly beat the Giants on week 2. So I feel like this whole thing has been a disservice to Micah Parsons, but also this team and Brian Schottenheimer, which is unfortunate. If I had to bet money on it, I would say Micah doesn't get this deal done. I really don't think this deal gets done before the season. Now, will Micah hold out? That remains to be unseen. I know he's kind of saying he has a back injury and ran an MRI, but Brian Schottenheimer came out, spoke today, and is like, he's clear to practice. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Brian Schottenheimer spoken to Micah Parsons. They had a conversation behind the scenes. So hopefully get this worked out. But I don't think this deal gets done. I feel like Jerry Jones is going to call Micah's bluff. And rightfully so, because Micah wrote this whole soliloquy about how he no longer wanted to be here in Dallas and he wanted to be moved and he didn't feel appreciated and this and that. And he showed the practice the next day on time. And then he went a few days ago, erased all Cowboys affiliation from his social media. Okay, we get that play, right? All the kids are doing it. He was at practice the next day on time. So Jerry Jones is saying, okay, bro, if you're not going to miss practice because you don't want to miss $50,000 or you just love this team, then you're not going to miss no game and miss $1.4 million, are you? So I think that Jerry is going to stand firm in this. He's going to make Micah Parsons bet on himself like he made Dak Prescott do twice last year, like he made Mike McCarthy do, Coach Zimmer, the entire coaching staff, and we'll have to see how it all shakes out. But Micah Parsons is a different breed. I think this is going to get uglier before it gets prettier, and we'll see how it all goes.
Yeah, maybe it'll be a repeat of the Emmitt Smith situation. Cowboys start 0-2. They sign Micah Parsons, and then the rest is history. I mean, this is one more.
0-2, I mean, he might as well let him walk because the season's a wrap.
Well, what Jerry's doing, I guess, he's just adding more storylines to the next documentary that they're going to do. The one that they just finished, though. I know, J-Tuck, you haven't watched it, and apparently Cowboys Nation isn't watching it, which is funny. But to those who have watched it, you know how good it was. So they're probably gearing up for the next round here. We'll see, but we'll keep an eye on Micah Parsons.
Sure, make a movie. They can make a movie out there. They're not winning shit.
He'll have an IMAX theater. Like don't give him those suggestions, y'all.
Shout out Jerry, man.
Yeah, do the movie premiere on that big screen.
If I tell all the Cowboys fans that are pressing me to watch it, if we get blown out by Philly, I'm gonna watch it on the live stream because that's all people have been talking about is this stupid ass documentary when we have a game in 8 days. And our best player isn't signed. Like there's other pressing needs. Like, all right, you know what? If we lose to Philly, we're gonna watch it live all together. And tell me how he's helping us this year as we compete for a championship now. I don't hear what you did about back in '93. Tell me what you're doing right now. And as of right now, you're not gambling, you're actually a crash out. So, I don't care anything Jerry has to say in that documentary, honestly.
Only Jerry Jones could drop a documentary while the best defensive player, arguably in the league, is looking for a contract, and nobody's talking about it anymore as a result.
You're not even at the table right now and calling yourself the gambler.
Crazy. Rio, let's shift gears to you. Your Commanders have been busy. They trade Brian Robinson Jr. to the 49ers. I believe last week you said they might be trading him for a bag of chips. So I don't know if that was involved in the contract or in the trade or not, but they did end up moving off of him nonetheless. Then they also get Terry McLaurin under contract. That had to get done for these Commanders to be at their best. In terms of offense going into the season, they get it done, lock in the 53-man roster today. So talk to me a little bit about that trade, Terry McLaurin being signed, and then your overall thoughts on the 53.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts in Ashburn right now. The Brian Robinson thing, we all saw it coming from this side. It was just a matter of, will it be a release or will someone give us something? Well, a lot of running back desperation happened to creep up on us last week. We were able to actually get a 6th round pick out of it. Brian Robinson was traded. We got more capital for him than the Texans trade for Joe Mixon with Cincinnati about a year ago. So I will take it. I will take for a player we were going to inevitably release. I've been telling people, for all the people that I've been trying to put on game, to Bill Krosky Merritt, JCM, our 7th round pick at running back, and how him and Austin Eckler are probably going to be heading this running back room. Now you believe it, bro, because apparently the impact was made enough this spring and summer that our starting running back in the final year of his deal was that expendable to get off the roster. It's funny how things change when you get someone dynamic in a room. But I wish B-Rob the best in his endeavors in San Francisco. He played hard for us. I mean, the dude got robbed and shot his rookie year and still went out there and ran for almost 800 yards. The problem was, we could never get to 800 yards or keep him off the injury report for a year. So it just didn't end up working out. And all it took was Cliff seeing a running back that could jump cut, has agile, has lateral movement, and they got out of the Brian Robinson business expeditiously. But B-Rob is a San Francisco 49er. But most importantly, the biggest topic of this whole team and the final distraction that is finally dissipated with a little over a week to go before the season starts, Terry McLaurin gets his bag. He gets his contract. It's all smiles again. Terry was sitting out there at the last preseason game, sitting outside, sitting on the bench by himself, like in scene, they lock in and they start acting like they hate life. Like, this is the same dude who shot an Eastern Motors commercial all smiles, jumping around and giggling and shit. And then 10 minutes later, sat down for 32 minutes and put his hard hat on. Like, oh, this is why I feel like I should get paid. It's all a part of the contract negotiation rollout. Like Tuck said, you clear your social media, you request a trade, yada, 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 long soliloquies. And then it eventually ends with the team that has the rights to you signing you to an extension. And what it tells me is that both sides compromised and both sides bended a little bit. But the major thing with his contract, it says 3 years up to $96 million. So potentially, and what the agents want you to know is that that's a 3-year, $96 million deal. That means $32 million a year. And it would mean Terry's the first receiver going into an age 30 season and negotiate 30 plus million a year. We don't know what the guarantee of the deal is over 24 hours later. That tells me that it's by design and that the team is probably winning in the whole contract leverage, who's going to cave first type of thing. No one knows what the guarantee is. I guarantee that the guarantee is lower than people expect. So I'm just glad to get this saga out the way, because I watched preseason football where we couldn't even really get a good look at back into the roster guys or quarterback play, and they had my GOAT Jaden Daniels throwing it to Uber drivers. I'm so glad we only had to watch that man for a drive this preseason. I'm very excited to see Terry and Noah Brown get out there next week versus the New York Giants so we can see our actual offense play football. Welcome back, 17. Glad you got your money. Get right and be ready to play next week because we got a football game to win.
Now, in terms of the 53, obviously Terry McLaurin locked in place. Brian Robinson will not be part of the team. Any shockers for the 53-man roster for your Commanders, or was it pretty much status quo?
It was pretty much status quo because the guys that were near the bottom of the 53, it was almost like they didn't want jobs this summer. We didn't really play any of our core or any of our main depth of the team this year in preseason. And the guys that did play, like Sam Hartman and Josh Johnson, I had to watch 3 preseason games of Sam Hartman and Josh Johnson playing quarterback, and it made me want to claw my eyes out. It was very bad. Sam Hartman's not a football player. Sam Hartman was here to shake Jaden Daniels' hand. Sam Hartman was here to be Jaden's personal assistant in uniform. That's all he's been so far. But he's gone. He was released. Josh Johnson making it as QB3 was a surprise. We kept 4 running backs. I knew we weren't keeping 6 receivers, just the main 5 guys with Terry, Luke McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Jalen Lane, Noah Brown. If there's a 6th receiver to be had, we'll find him like we found Noah Brown last year on someone's scrap heap. But no surprises on this end other than undrafted linebacker out of Ali Cahoe. He ended up making the roster after a couple strong preseason games last week. But nope, pretty status quo over here.
So preseason in the books for you, Rio. The Commanders lose every single one of their 3 games by at least 2 touchdowns, including 30-3 to finish things off against the Ravens. Any concern there based on how they showed through the first 3 games of the preseason, or are you just ready to get to the regular season and look past?
Nah, a lot of grocery baggers, Lyft drivers, and Instacart delivery guys out there on the field for us, man. Whole bunch of people that ain't never going to see a game field on a Sunday afternoon. Y'all ain't seen the real us. KB and them are going to see the real us for the first time this year. Y'all pray for them boys.
Say your prayers now. We're just a little over a week away from that showdown. Speaking of KB, I'm sorry, a fan favorite in New York gets released today, and Tommy Coldcuts, he's no longer on the roster. But who is Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson, and Jameis Winston. They make up the quarterback room for these Giants as the 53-man gets locked in. Talk to me about your thoughts on what the Giants did today and how that roster is looking heading into next week.
I'm just happy that the Giants didn't do anything that makes them look like they overthought the roster of how it was going to look. There was a lot of talk about them possibly trading Jameis Winston away and then keeping Tommy DeVito on the roster. There was also a lot of talk about even trading Tommy DeVito away, which makes no sense because if he's going to be a cut anyway, no team's going to trade for him. But there was a lot of talk around there of trying to trying to be a Howie Roseman, and trying to trade away players for a quick buck here and there. I'm just happy that they didn't overthink anything and try to get rid of good depth that, should be used on this roster and should be on this roster. As far as how the roster looks, I'm happy with it. There was nothing out there that I really didn't like or disagree with. Probably the biggest thing I would have probably disagreed with is Evan Neal is still on my football team. But I mean, I understand that from a contract standpoint. Evan Neal kind of has to still be on this team. I was live just before we went live here, and I was talking about Evan Neal and, you know, how me as a GM, maybe it's a good thing I'm not a GM, but I would have cut him anyway. But Evan Neal is still on my football team. As far as anything else goes, I'm happy that we kept the quarterback room where it's at. You know, Tommy DeVito, he's a great story. He's a funny meme. You know, he went viral for a lot of moments, but it's just not how good football teams are built. I think the Giants are really starting to turn the corner. You know, I was saying this, you know, just a couple, you know, like an hour ago on my live, where it's like bad football teams keep the fan favorites. You know, bad football teams keep the locker room guys and stuff like that. And the Giants are kind of turning the corner when it comes to that. Like they cut a lot of fan favorites, locker room guys in this 53-man roster. Yeah, I'm so happy about it. Also, I feel like if this was like years past, we would have cut Jameis Winston and kept Tommy DeVito for the vibes, you know, or, you know, just for the hometown hero type stuff. But there were a couple of surprises from the, you know, general Giants fan base. Not really for me, but a guy like Dante Miller, you know, he was a fourth string. You know, everybody wanted him as a fourth string running back. The guy couldn't run in between the tackles to save his life, but he had a couple of good screen passes on third down that he converted that a lot of people loved. And he's really fast. His nickname is Turbo. There's that. Greg Dulcich, who was a former, I believe, second-round pick. A lot of people liked him coming out in the draft. He had 3 touchdowns in this preseason. He was on fire, but they just couldn't find space to put him on the roster. The Giants already had 4 talented tight ends. They didn't really have a role for him. Because he's not really much of a blocker anyway. The Giants also got rid of a fan favorite, a guy who had a great story coming into the NFL. He was a tryout for us, Elijah Chapman. You know, he went viral last year for having one of those hustle plays, you know, hustling and getting to a running back, you know, 40 yards downfield as a defensive tackle. And they got rid of him. Even though he had fullback reps, he was trying to be a two-way player. He was, you know, played in the preseason games as a fullback, and he was doing pretty well. We thought he was a lock to make the roster, but turns out, you know, he just wasn't good enough to make the cut. The Giants have a different plan in mind. He was a little bit of an undersized type guy. The Giants really want more beefier interior defensive linemen. So I'm just happy with where it's turned out right now. I don't think there's any more like surprise guys. I wrote down a couple of guys, but we had one undrafted free agent to make the roster, which I think is great because that tells me we are not desperate for talent where we're just getting these guys who weren't even drafted and throwing them on the roster. So we have one undrafted free agent, wide receiver, Bo Collins. He's been balling all of camp. Didn't really have much of a good third preseason game, but put in the work, put in the effort during Tramp and the prior games. So that was the only undrafted free agent to make the roster. But all in all, I'm really happy with it. This is the best roster the Giants have had since, I want to say, 2016, 2015 maybe. So I have a lot of high hopes. I don't know if it's going to really translate to the win column because of the schedule, how it's looking. But I'll tell you right now, the Giants are going to compete this year in every game. They are not going to be blown out. We have a much better quarterback situation. Defense looking great. The depth and offensive line look fantastic. So I'm excited for the season, even if we don't wind up winning as much games as we might want.
Well, it translated to the preseason, KB. I don't think it's crazy to say that the Giants had the best preseason in the NFL. They dominated. They won every single one of their games, scoring more than 31 points in each one, winning by multiple scores in each one. That included their last outing against the Patriots, 42-10. I know it's just the preseason, KB, but this had to have been encouraging, seeing this heading into a year that means a lot for Joe Shane, Brian Dable, and also knowing that you have Jackson Dart waiting in the wings, and he looked as good as any rookie QB. So just kind of talk to me about what you saw in the preseason in totality that has you excited going into next week.
Yeah, obviously the preseason, when it comes to the points and the wins, it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things because terrible teams could have good preseason outings. But what it really told me, just individually as a Giants fan, watching the Giants for my whole life, it told me that the Giants have just much better depth as opposed to even years past where they would have literal just nobodies out there in the preseason, and those guys due to the fact that we had nobody else would have to make the roster. The Giants cut the Giants cut good talent this year for the 53. That gives me a lot of hope, and a lot of that talent was balling out on the field in these preseason games and contributed to how much we dominated in the preseason. Again, it doesn't mean anything, but it does tell me that the Giants have good depth and they're making a good roster, and that these guys that competed in the preseason games could possibly, you may see them out there on a particular Sunday due to injury or whatever the case may be, and you're not going to be biting your nails off because that one person is out there. I think the Giants are building up good depth, and I think the preseason showed a good bit of that.
Well, Simone, your Eagles are looking to get after yet another Super Bowl title, and their 53-man roster is set in place to do it. That also included an undrafted free agent that made the wide receiver room, which is pretty crazy considering how good this Eagles offense is. Talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on the Eagles 53-man roster that locked in early this afternoon.
Yeah, so Darius Cooper, that's our undrafted free agent, making the 53-man roster. So the wide receiver room, as y'all know, y'all are, well exposed to our wide receiver room. It's competitive in there. It's competitive. So this offseason, obviously, we're going in with the mantra that it's going to be like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, and then, we'll see who fills out. We had 2 rookies from last year that were expected to have big years this season, and Aniyah Smith and Johnny Wilson. But then once camp started, a lot of guys who were like practice squads and undrafted free agents started really popping off the screen. One of those guys being Darius Cooper, undrafted free agent this year out of Tarleton. Darius started building a relationship with Jalen Hurts early. That's kind of how we knew, this isn't just like a cute camp story. This is for real. Like after, there'll be, he'll make a big catch or he'll make a touchdown. Him and Jalen Hurts were dap up. Jalen Hurts sticking around after practice, talking to him. So we're like, this guy is special. Okay. So then it was crazy when we brought in John Mechie, because like I was telling y'all before last week, it's like, dang, we had a lot of guys, looking good. And then we add in another talent to the wide receiver room. So the wide receiver room, definitely the biggest story. How are we going to slim and trim that down? We did end up having 2 injuries. So Elijah Cooks, a practice squad guy who's been on our practice squad the season before. He was with the Jaguars, didn't really stick. He was having a really good camp early on. Then he ended up getting hurt in the first preseason game. So unfortunately for him, that set him back, made it a little bit easier for us to see the wide receiver room, what it was going to look like. And then Johnny Wilson ends up getting hurt, and he's going to be out for the year. So once Johnny Wilson got hurt, it was pretty much down to Aniyah Smith, who was our 5th-round pick last year. Aniyah's got hurt in training camp, I believe, last year. So that kind of set him back, and he wasn't able to stick. This year, Aniyah was looking really good at camp. But Darius Cooper was just, he's just so explosive, phenomenal. And then, again, the relationship he built with Jalen Hurts. So the biggest question was, how are we going to slim down the wide receiver room? It ended up being Aniyah Smith getting waived. So shout out to Darius Cooper, undrafted free agent, making that room. Outside of that, we didn't really have any, real surprises. A few little question marks maybe is our returner. So Britton Covey was our returner last year. Britton Covey was kind of, he got injured a lot. So we've always had to have depth there. But Britton Covey ended up going to the Rams this offseason. We brought in Avery Williams from the Atlanta Falcons. We ended up waiving Avery Williams. So it's like, dang, who going to be our returner? Now, Aniyah Smith would be a great return candidate if he clears waivers. But that's one question we have. So I'm like, maybe Darius Cooper, we'll see there. Outside of that, I mean, everything is pretty much how we expected it. We knew, obviously we traded for Sam Howell the other day. Tanner McKee ended up getting hurt. So once Tanner McKee got hurt, we already knew we couldn't roll into the season with DTR and Cal McCord, who was our rookie. So how we did with how we got to do, you know what I'm saying? Pick up that phone, make a move. So he ended up getting Washington legend Sam Howell. Yeah. Dotting us up, going band for band with Sam Howell. Still won the game. But welcome, Sam. Obviously got that relationship with Jahan, but hopefully we'll never have to see him. So we bring in Sam, and obviously that meant DTR was gone. Sam, Kyle McCord gone. It's crazy because we drafted Kyle this year. They just was we're not waiting to see what we got. We're not waiting around. cornerback room was a big question coming into camp. We kind of like knew how, like based off camp, we knew how it was going to look. So it wasn't a shock, but like the biggest question going into the offseason was who's going to be cornerback 2. Somehow Adoree Jackson just I don't know what happened. Adoree Jackson just ran away with it. Like Adoree Jackson got like 90% of the first team reps. The final preseason game, Adoree Jackson didn't play at all, which is like, okay, Vic Fangio saw everything he needed to see. So we didn't have any surprise cuts in the cornerback room, but it is an overall surprise because when the offseason started, I don't think anyone expected Adoree to be winning the job. Now, as the camp went along, we started seeing the signs. But yeah, Keely Ringo's also on the roster. I didn't think Keely Ringo was going to get waived because he's a great contributor on special teams. So yeah, no real like surprise cuts, just our undrafted free agent story.
Eagles had a pretty good preseason. Simone finishing 2-1, got the W in the last game against the Jets, and maybe that's why Kyle McCord was let go. Not a great showing for him in that victory. But based on what you saw in those 3 games, just your overall impressions from the Eagles in the preseason that has you feeling good going into next week.
Rookies look ready. Smile Munden, who a linebacker we got from Georgia. I already know the Georgia Bulldogs gonna cook. Obviously our first round pick, Jahad Campbell, looked great. Ty Robinson, defensive tackle we got out of Nebraska. Andrew Makuba. Rookies made so many plays. So that was really good to see because like we're going to need some of these guys to make an instant impact. So rookies made a lot of plays. Some like I would think AJ Dillon, that's another guy. I kind of had a question around because the only question around AJ Dillon is his health. And we saw this offseason that he's healthy. So that was a big plus, seeing AJ Dillon be healthy. Rookies look really good. Outside of the rookies and AJ Dillon, that's pretty much it. But I mean, what else are you looking for in preseason but your rookies? I mean, obviously we want Jalen Hurts to be healthy.
No doubt. I think everybody in here wishes that their quarterback
and AJ Brown.
healthy.
Like one thing we definitely learned, like, yeah, we need AJ Brown out there. And we need Jalen.
Best players, you need them, right? That's why you look forward to looking at the rookies during preseason, but you hope to God you don't need to see plenty of the other guys who are out there in those 3 weeks. Well, now that the preseason has come and gone, the 53-man roster is set. I'm sure many of you are going to be diving into your fantasy drafts this upcoming week. Before you do, make sure to utilize our friends over at RotoWire. They have the best fantasy tools in the game. In order to utilize them, go over here to Fantasy NFL, go to Tools, and they have a ton of different outlets for you to utilize to make sure that you are set up and ready to go for your fantasy draft. I'm sure you're also going to be placing your bets because we're just over a week away, so you got to get those locked up. Before you do, go to RotoWire and make sure you are getting the best line possible. RotoWire has an NFL odds sheet that you can look at for each and every week of the entire season and compare value for the lines on all the major sports books. That way you can get the absolute best value for every bet you place. Now, in terms of the NFC East games, Cowboys, Eagles, they kick things off for us in 2025. Right now, you can get the best line for the Cowboys at DraftKings with +7. You can get the best line for the Eagles over at FanDuel -6.5. Then we go down to Giants and Commanders. Similar lines. The best line for the Giants, 6.5 on FanDuel. Best line for the Commanders, -6 on DraftKings. You can utilize this tool and every other tool that RotoWire has with a premium subscription. Use the link in the description below. Click that. Then use the promo code RTS when you sign up. That will get you 15% off a premium subscription. Also, by the way, make sure you become a Patreon member before the season starts. That way you can call in and get in on debates like we had last week about the quarterbacks.
All that typing on Instagram in the comments, but nobody wants to step on the phone.
They quiet.
I know y'all saw the NFL 100 list. So
yes, Jalen Hurts, 19
NFL players for me.
Exactly right. The NFL players.
That 19th rank coming off a ring, not the flex you think it is, though.
We supposed to be allies, so what's going on?
You're right. We still
Yeah, collusion going on down here. man.
Allies. What are we talking about? Allies.
Yeah, so they got some collusion going on. down
NFC
here.
East.
Yeah.
Okay, you
I mean, it's
still
all
have
family.
allies amongst enemies.
Exactly.
No, we're in the NFC East.
It's okay, KB. We
You
can
still gotta have
team
allies amongst
underdogs.
enemies.
Hey, shout,
We got
yeah.
team underdogs.
everybody put your hand up if you got a quarterback on the top 100
Hey.
list in 2025.
Hey, listen, Rio feeling different because it used to be our fan bases that would link arms together against the Cowboys and Eagles, and now it's me and J Tuck.
Hey, don't put me at the kids' table with the Giants, man.
Hey, we on the come up. It's all right. We're gonna leave you in the basement. We on the come up.
Folks, we already know what it is by now. We can't even talk about Patreon without these guys getting into a heated debate. That this is how it goes down in the NFC East Roundtable. You can be a part of that action. And like J Tuck said, don't use those Twitter fingers. Pick up the phone and start dialing. Get in here and talk with the gang. You can do that when you become a Patreon member. Link is in the description below. And hey, speaking of everybody tuning into the show, we can't thank you enough. We just saw a massive surge in subscriber count over the last month.
Yes.
Over 300 of you have become subscribers in just the last couple of weeks here. We're so excited to have you along. We really appreciate you tuning in during the preseason here, and we cannot wait to enjoy the season with you here on the NFC East Roundtable. All right, so last week we had a crazy debate about quarterbacks. We clipped that episode. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. There's, I think, 600 comments in the comment section. That's how wild that one got. Let's see if this one can get even wilder. We are going to do our record predictions because, believe it or not, next week we're doing our game preview and game predictions. So this is the last opportunity we have to get our NFC East record predictions in. So that's what we're about to do here on the NFC East Roundtable. Trying to think of who I want to start with here. I think I got to start with Jay Tuck because I started with him last time and he really set the tone. So let's see if he can do it again.
It ain't gonna be on this one. You know what I'm saying? Even though I do got the number one quarterback in the NFC East, this record prediction ain't gonna go like it's supposed to go.
I would imagine, Jay Tuck, though, with the number one quarterback, you got to be thinking you're going to be doing better than you did last year with him not playing the majority of the games. So talk to me. What does 2025 look like for your Cowboys in terms of a record?
Well, I get my quarterback back, but my best defensive players over there rolling around on the medical bench throughout the course of the games, walking around in Crocs. So I'm not sure. For me, I think the Dallas Cowboys will have an improved record. But will it be back to the 12-5 average that we were used to under Mike McCarthy? I do not think so. All right, so this has been Cowboys fans. I apologize. You exit from the chat and say, I don't like you took on the NFC East Roundtable because he's keeping it too real. I got the Cowboys at 10-7 this year. I just feel like, honestly, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson is going to be fun to watch. We're going to put up a lot of points. But the Dallas Cowboys have a tough schedule, which we all do in the NFC East. And there's just been too much uncertainty, dark clouds, drama going around this team. It's going to be hard to focus on football. And I feel like for me personally, this is me speaking, right? The one thing that gave me confidence as a Cowboys fan or an analyst or content creator is I had a head coach who's won a Super Bowl before. I had a head coach who's been in the league for quite some time. He's been with Aaron Rodgers. He called some plays. He's been with John Gruden. Like, he's been around the league, Joe Montana, Brett Favre, you name it. I don't have that anymore with Brian Schottenheimer. And I'm hoping for the best when it comes to Brian Schottenheimer, but it's a massive question mark because we do not know. So I used to feel like Mike McCarthy was a better coach than Nick Sirianni. Dan Quinn is a questionable, right? I can kind of push right there. And then also over Brian Dable, I can no longer say that with Brian Schottenheimer that I have one of the top coaches in the NFC East. So for that reason, I'm going to go 10-7 for the Dallas Cowboys.
10-7 says Jay Tuck. Their over-under is 8.5. So Jay Tuck has them doing better than maybe the public perceives them to do this upcoming year. So you said 10-7, Jay Tuck. There's 6 divisional games that have to be played. What does the division record look like for the Dallas Cowboys?
I got us 3-3.
Now, is that going to be a split with just about everybody, or are we doubling up on someone?
I think we'll split, right? Split with Philly, split with Washington. And if there's anyone we could possibly sweep, it would be the Giants. But I feel like we split with the Giants this year as well.
Thank you. We're finally
All
gonna
right.
do it. We're finally gonna do it.
Jay Tuck, he puts it in pen, 10-7 for his Dallas Cowboys, 3-3 in the division. All right, KB, let's talk to you now, because Jay Tuck, he's at least given you one win, so you got at least one win under your belt right now for the New York Giants. But it'll be interesting to see what the Giants look like this coming year, coming off of a really good preseason. They're over under, by the way, 5.5. I got a feeling, KB, you have the Giants doing better than the public thinks.
I do at this point. I do, because I really love how the roster is shaping up. Like when we got not the schedule, when we got like all the opponents and who we're gonna face this season, I was like, oh my god, we're gonna be terrible. Because at that point, we were still figuring out what's going on with like our quarterback situation. We had literally no quarterback on the roster going into the draft and free agency, stuff like that. So, in free agency. So I don't know. When it comes to the schedule, it's hard. It's hard because I really think this is a talented team. This, like I said, when we were talking about the 53-man roster, I feel like this is the most talented team on paper since 2016. And the Giants went 11-5 that year, and shocked me and shocked everybody going with that record, and had a phenomenal defense that year. When it comes to this year, it's hard because of the schedule. And it's a really brutal one to start. You have Washington to start, and then you have the Cowboys, and then you have Kansas City in our home opener, like on a Monday night like that. How do you expect to get off your feet with that kind of schedule, with that kind of start? I don't know. But I really think the Giants are going to recover later on in the season. They'll start getting the ball rolling. I think they are going to struggle in the beginning. Those first couple of games, they're really tough. But like J Tuck said, I feel like we're going to split with the Cowboys, and I think that might start early. I think it could start early. I think it start in week 2. I believe that's at Jerry World as well. So I hope we start off strong when it comes to that. But I think the Giants can reasonably win 7 wins, like a 7-10 win team. I think if things go wrong, or if something happens with Russell Wilson and you throw Jackson Dart out there, I don't know. It's like that rookie magic. If you throw Jackson Dart out there early, I'm not saying to do it day one, but if something happens, the Giants go 0-3 to start, and the fan base is pressuring the organization. You see Jackson Dart start, I think he's going to go on a little bit of a run because of how he's progressing so far, and I think they could end up winning, 8-9 games. We'll see. But I'm gonna be conservative here. I'll be nice and not controversial. I'm gonna say 7 wins. But I know a lot of people don't expect us to win any. Games. But I'm gonna say 7 wins.
7 wins, says KB for his New York Giants. How about within the division? What's your record in those 6 games?
In the division, we are not beating Philadelphia unless I see it. Like Philadelphia is like automatically a loss for us, and I would love. Listen, I know it's a joke all the time, but yes, it would be a Super Bowl for us if we beat the Eagles once and they had a healthy roster along with our healthy roster. So, but I think until I see it, I gotta have Philadelphia sweeping us. I legitimately think we can split with the Cowboys and Washington. I legitimately think so. So I guess 2 and 4. So I don't know. That's a step up for us because we went 0-6 last year. So that's an improvement.
It's a step forward, KB. That's all you can ask for, right?
With the hope of sweeping the Cowboys. That would be a dream come true, and I think it's possible.
So why you
I
have
think
to
it's
push
possible.
it, bro?
I think it's possible. If there's a hot take I got for the Giants this season, is sweeping the Cowboys. So that's all I'll say.
You just had to overdo it, dog. You just had to overdo it.
I think it's possible.
Well, hey, Jay Tuck Coles is in here to defend you because he's saying we're sweeping the Commanders and the Giants. That's the Cowboys he's speaking on. So,
are we talking about the 2025 Cowboys?
Salute to my guy Cole.
Shout out Cole, though,
bro. But see, Cole is the biggest Eagle antagonist online, and you froze up when it was time to say he was sweeping Philly too. Like, don't stop. You know, it's like if you don't go for it, let's go for the whole thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I think he's got to at least taken 1 against Philly. I think 5-1 in the division wouldn't be too bad.
Let's just take it there, man. But if we gonna sweep both the Commanders and the Giants, and let's sweep Philly too, bro. Like let's
You know what? Screw it. I'm saying it. We're going to sweep the Cowboys.
Dak does run the division, so I mean, Cole's not that far off. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, we'll have to see. But I think I like the prediction so far. KB's got 2 wins within the division, so somebody's got to go down. J Tuck's
no, screw it.
got
I'm
3.
changing. We're sweeping the Cowboys. We're 3-3, baby. Come on. As we're doing it. We're doing it. This is the year.
Let's go to the Philadelphia Eagles defending their Super Bowl title. They're tied currently with the Ravens and the Chiefs for the second highest win total prediction in 2025. The only team higher, my Buffalo Bills. We'll see what ends up happening there. But the Philadelphia Eagles, 11.5 is the over-under right now. Simone, talk to me. Obviously looking for that repeat. They have the team to do it, but in order to get there, they have to have a good regular season. What does that look like to you? What is the Eagles' record in 2025?
I think we'll go 13-4. Think it'll be plenty. You hear what they're saying about their teams. It'll be plenty enough to win the NFC East, but we have a tough schedule. The beginning of our schedule is very tough. We don't have any back-to-back home games, so that's brutal as well. Like the fact that we got to stay on the road. We're going to be tested early. You know, Adoree Jackson or Jacorian Bennett, whomever is going to be tested early. So I think 13-4 is pretty realistic. No
13-4.
13.
Well, 13-4, that's going to have you vying for the 1 seed at the very minimum there, Simone, I would imagine. Now, in terms of the division, talk to me. What ends up happening there? How does Philly fare against these 3 other guys in the NFC East?
I'm not trying to start nothing, but I think it's going to be a sweep. I think we'll go, what? How many of y'all is it? 3, 6-0.
All right.
I do think it's going to be a sweep. I mean, it would have been a sweep last year if Jalen played the whole time. So don't see any reason why we wouldn't finish the job with the MVP.
Not bad. Not a bad year, Simone's prediction.
Super Bowl MVP.
Notice how they all got quiet.
It was
I can't say anything, but I don't know. Rio need to be the one to speak up.
Oh, no. I'm coming up real soon.
Act like he dizzy. KB looking at his phone. See how they do?
And let her get it. Let her get it off, man.
It's boring hearing the Eagles talk. It's just boring. I don't want to hear it.
Well, we got a lot of defenders for J Tuck here, by the way. We got my man Lou coming in. He's saying, I know one thing, and that's Jackson Dart ain't sweeping the Cowboys, so you better ask Jaden what to do as a rookie.
Hey, man, put some respect on my quarterback's name. It's not 2 X's, the X and the S.
All right? Better not put that boy out there versus Dallas, bro. They the only defense in the league that kind of had Jaden in the Matrix last year. So, I ain't going to hold you.
Well, the question is, Rio, will they have him in the Matrix again this year? The Commanders are looking to repeat what they did last year, and that was a season that really surprised everybody. Jaden Daniels comes out of nowhere, becomes one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, and leads this team to an NFC championship game. The standards are high. The bar is set high, Rio, but I know you're very, very confident in your Commanders. How confident is the question, the record for Washington this year, according to you?
Nobody repeats as division champion in the NFC East, and we're going to keep the tradition going strong. But here's the thing. No one's winning 13 games in this division this year. We all have ridiculous schedules, but the good team and the cream always rises to the top. Washington's going to win this division with a 12-5 record, meaning Philly's winning either 11 games or losing a tiebreaker to us with a 12-5 record. We will be sitting atop the NFC East for a good part of this season because we're going to get off to a fast start. We're going to win 5 of our first 6 games. Dallas is going to catch us early in week 7, but we got something for that ass on Christmas Day on Netflix in front of the whole world when Santa Claus comes to town. But 12-5, Jaden Daniels is going to be top 2 in the MVP race in 2025. We're going to sweep the Giants. KB, I'm sorry. Like, I don't care how close the games are. I don't care if we end up winning by half a point twice.
Confident. You're getting real confident.
We're going to sweep them, and y'all are getting the first game of the Jaden Daniels MVP season So,
Oh my God.
y'all could bring Abdul Carter, y'all could bring Dexter Lawrence, y'all could bring the National Guard up to Northwest Stadium week 1 of the season. Y'all are not leaving with a dub.
They sweep us one season after we've been whooping their ass for 20 years, and now we're just like
we're talking about life pre-Jaden Daniels, bro. We're in a different world in 2025, man.
Listen. You got JD5, we got JD6. All right, we got the upgrade. You know what I'm saying? Just
I don't know what
out.
a JD6
just watch out. Listen, we may give it to you 2025. We may give it to you, but 2026.
Has he thrown a pass past the line of scrimmage yet, or is it still?
Of course.
Is he still Jackson Dart or not?
Of course. Listen, don't listen to the mainstream media. He's got the arm talent. He can throw it downfield. You'll see. Hopefully soon. You'll see.
JD6, man. Bless the Giants' heart, though. I think their defense, they're going to be the team that leads the league in sacks en route to a 4-13 season. But we're going to split with the Cowboys. We're going to split with the Eagles. We'll beat the Eagles in the one that matters the most, which will be week 16 when they come to town on a Saturday. That game's going to definitely be flexed into the night spot on Saturday, week 16 of the season. They'll beat us in week 18 when we have the division clinch.
Woo! Man, Jay Tuck just laid the hammer. I heard 12-5. I heard division champs, and I know he just snuck in a JD5 MVP. He snuck that in. That didn't go unnoticed.
Yeah, and because it's all happening in 2025, man. Like people don't know. Like they don't understand how good this kid is mentally and the work that he puts in. Y'all are really about to see something special in 2025. Like, he dragged a wide receiver room with dudes named Alameda and Lucas McCaffrey. And we had to sit here and size 300 yards from De'Ami Brown, which he showed up in the playoffs last year. But he had Jamison Crowder and Alameda Zaccheaus catching 2 touchdowns apiece versus the Eagles last year in one game. You know what I'm saying?
First of all, Alameda ain't no scrub. So
Alameda, all right.
Rio, I hate to tell you, but my man Cole, he thinks you need to wake up because you're stuck in La La Land. He thinks you're dreaming right now with this prediction.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, Cole representing the Cowboys right now, and my smoke is not with y'all because y'all looking up at us in Philadelphia right now. So, you know,
don't try to bring us back into it after talking all that trash.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, there's supremacy at the top of this division now, and it ain't that right now. We're not worried about Netflix documentaries over here. We trying to win something this year, man. I'm sorry, I watched our cleats touch NFC Championship soil, and yeah, we got our ass busted in that game, but at least we punched a ticket and had the opportunity to do so.
Jay Tuck, I can't hear you. I know you got something to say right now. I see those lips moving.
You see, his mic didn't work just now because we talked about the championship round, and they mics don't work in the championship round.
I was saying, I apologize for last week for cooking you on that quarterback debate because he got you all acting crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, man to man, I apologize to all of y'all that I had to do that to y'all publicly, but it's the chat. You know what I'm saying? It was a chat, but we all know who runs the NFC East. It's clear as day. Clear as day. And it's not Jay Daniels. And it's not Jalen Hurts. It's Dak Prescott.
It's number 79.
Oh, you were quiet.
All right, KB, when's the last time that the Giants beat Dak Prescott?
2016. Yeah, okay. Here's the thing. Here's the thing I wanted to talk about when we were talking about this.
Hold on.
No.
So when they do on
he brought the soundboard on.
Eliminated. KB Blue eliminated, right? So you ain't to
Oh
2016.
God.
Rio
Swaggy coming in. He's telling you to talk it, Rio. He's telling you to talk that talk. JD MVP season loading. I think he meant to say loading instead of losing. I would imagine based on the profile picture.
He said what he said.
He said what he said. MVP season losing.
Right. He said what he said.
Swaggy P for the super chat.
Hey, man, shout out to Swaggy P. He had happy hour right now. He had happy hour right now.
He meant to say loading, and he put losing. Oh, God, no.
No. Just stop the sentence at MVP season.
Hey, what do they call that? Freudian slip? What do they call that?
Yeah, exactly right. And Linda, by the way, Linda's coming in all caps, by the way. She wants you to know this, Rio. Someone tell Rio you need a whole team, and you got to stop the run. Saquon averaged $150 against your team. She's saying that JD can't do it all himself.
And that sounds fine and well. And that's why the NFL offseason exists. And it did happen this year. And we got a lot better as a football team this year. You saw JD5 in his rookie infant stages. Guess what? He has Laramie Tunzel on one side now. He has a first-round pick named Josh Connolly on the other. And Brandon Coleman no longer has to masquerade as a tackle. He's the left guard now. We have protection. We're going to build a fortress for our prized investment. Terry Acorn head ass just got paid. Tebow is not fat. And we got to run back with some speed on him now. And we got a 4-3 receiver in the slot. I'm praying for all of your defense.
What's that got to do with stopping Saquon? What Debo got to do with stopping Saquon?
Praying. Oh, and on the defensive side of the ball, we added some size up for y'all. Gonna see. Oh,
now you quiet. Now it comes to stopping Saquon. Now you don't got to answer.
I mean, there's no stopping him, but you got to do enough. There's no stopping Saquon. He was the best player in the NFL last year. You don't stop greatness. That's how I know that y'all ain't stopping Jaden Daniels, because greatness does not rescind. It does not regress. It does not fall back. It keeps ascending. And you can do what you can to slow down Saquon Barkley, but you're not going to stop him altogether.
Door Gunner thinks the greatness of Dak Prescott's going to fall back a little bit, saying that Dak can't feast on bad NFC East teams anymore.
Thank you. That's what I've been saying. But then everybody, all the Cowboys fans were like on the coattails of the Eagles, using the Eagles' Super Bowl appearances to pump up Dak Prescott, but Dak Prescott wasn't participating in those Super Bowls. So it makes no sense. The Cowboys fans have made no sense on Twitter.
Anthony's also saying here that 33-8 record Dak has against this division has only resulted in 2 playoff wins. But as Jay Tuck said last week, right, this is the division.
My first little football discussion when I thought playoff wins was a quarterback stat. Actually, Z-Bot, can you do me a favor real quick? Can you put Rio on solo cam for me?
Oh, you got it.
Let's do it.
All right. Now, Rio, go ahead and tell, because you got a lot of Commanders fans in here. Go ahead and put Brock Purdy over Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson in your quarterback ratings. Go ahead, do that for me.
I'm not going to do that.
Why not?
I'm not going to do that because
the Super Bowl.
Brock Purdy is a good quarterback, but he's a passenger.
Purdy went to the Super Bowl,
but he's a passenger. He's a passenger.
But Purdy went to the Super Bowl, though.
He's a passenger.
But I thought it's about who. I thought it's about what players have gotten.
I mean, I understand you got to do PR for your boy Rain Dakota, but
cool,
you know what I'm saying?
Cool. All right, so Simone, can you do Simone real quick?
Of course.
First of all, what does that do with
me?
me?
Can you do me a quick favor?
You got to defend your boy Jalen.
Quick favor and put Deshaun Watson over Justin Herbert for us.
Can you say it again, please?
Can you rank Deshaun Watson over Justin Herbert for us? Publicly.
Yeah, you saying pick one? I'm confused. What's going on?
In 2025?
I'm confused. What is happening?
But see, Deshaun Watson went to an AFC Championship game, didn't he?
No.
You doing all this stuff. This does not make that better than anybody. Like,
was that a divisional round? That was that.
That was the AFC Championship game.
You want me to solo up KB too for you, Jay? You got one.
He's already eliminated.
Jackson Dart, baby.
That had to be the divisional round. Watson's not been to the AFC Championship.
What was the one when he blew the lead versus the Chiefs? Was
that Kansas City Divisional?
That was divisional. That was, I'm about to say. All right, cool. I'm about to say, Massage Man ain't never.
Just like Dak Prescott.
Hey, just like Dak.
Just like Dak Prescott.
So cool. So what are we saying? So are we judging playoff wins off the quarterback?
No, what are you saying? Because what does any of this have to do with the fact that Dak is?
Why are we judging playoff success off the quarterback position?
But in those big games, what does your quarterback do?
He was carrying the team.
Games, what does Jalen do?
So when he lost his divisional, as a rookie to Aaron Rodgers, and our defense gave up a 3rd and 20 with the game on the line, how was that Dak Prescott's fault?
But what about every other year? The man is 35. So what about every other year?
He hasn't played every other year.
But he's been to the playoffs.
Best ability is availability. Can I get an amen?
So it's like I just feel like we are past the point of comparing playoff wins to overarching stats.
All right, let's compare playoff performances then. I've seen my quarterback in one playoff stanza of 3 games. Going into the Super Bowl last year, even once we were eliminated, my quarterback led all quarterbacks in the playoffs in touchdowns and in yards.
Dak has played poorly in one playoff game in his career, and that's versus San Francisco.
That's unfortunate, man. He old as shit.
so that's just one. That's just one game. So it's like, bro, people got to cut that out. We're past that ESPN.
So when Green Bay pulled
World,
up the Jerry World,
when Green Bay pulled up the Jerry World, quarterback is how they perform in the playoffs.
What happened when Green Bay put belt to ass in the playoffs?
If you sit here and gonna knock Brock Purdy, we have to sit here and knock.
I got a better question for J Tuck. Say the Cowboys do a random quarterback draft and you have to pick from Dak Prescott, Jaden Daniels, and Jalen Hurts. Who would you choose to be your quarterback right now on the Cowboys?
Well, I would choose Jaden Daniels because he's younger.
Okay, for the season. Right. Forget about
if I take Dak Prescott and put him in Philly and we take Jalen Hurts, we're having the same conversations, bro.
Excuse me, sir.
I mean, that's a different situation. They got the best roster in football. I'm talking about who would you choose?
No.
If I take Jaden Daniels and dump him in Philly, they are Super Bowl contenders right now.
That might be undefeated.
If you take the top 10, all the top 10 quarterbacks,
number one offenses with the same coordinators, and ain't do nothing with.
What are you talking about?
We are talking about when he had DeMarco, the offensive line, all them weapons.
He didn't have DeMarco Murray.
Who's the other running back he had? It's Zeke. Zeke in his prime. When Zeke was in his prime, y'all had a number 3 offense, multiple years, a number 1 offense. And what did y'all do with it? Nothing. Jalen has weapons, and he takes to the Super Bowl and win it. There's the difference.
So you're saying that the
had the
Eagles had
number 1 defense, though.
If the Eagles had Jaden Daniels, they would take a step back.
I'm just saying the Eagles had the number 1 defense. The Cowboys already had defensive struggles. Listen, I gotta be fair and logical here. I'm trying to be the best.
You see all this.
I'm trying to be the best basement dweller possible. The best basement dweller possible.
We're winning the division this year. I'm gonna let them go ahead and go at it, bro.
You might win the division, but you're not going back. You're not going back. You're not going back, bro. So let's not act like if you swap these quarterbacks off, it's a different result. Like, oh, if I took Jalen Hurts, he's the missing link and he would get the Cowboy. We would be a punching bag if I did that. We don't have a running back. We don't have a running back or a defense, and you have to actually throw the ball and be a quarterback. I would be where KB is right now.
Hey man, leave me alone. You guys are fighting for the top over here.
We got George Pickens. We got CeeDee Lamb. I ain't got a quarterback that can get them the ball. Right?
Hold on. Simone's got something to say. Simone, let her rip.
I got my last thing to say. If ifs and ands was pots and pans, the whole world would be a kitchen. All you can do with your quarterback is think about hypotheticals, if, and what, and if I switch this and that and that. We got hardware. My quarterback
because you have a GM that puts together a championship team.
We got some super chats coming in, by the way.
Record books, okay? You live in a hypothetical
land. Team.
Mine is living in when I got the opportunity, I made the most of it land. Hate to be there.
It's the truth.
Phenomenal ecosystem they got in Philadelphia, man.
Right.
Door Gunner, by the way, J Tuck, he thinks you're coping hard with Dak. He's also coming in and saying they asked what Dak's signature playoff play was last week. It was doing a QB sneak and the clock run. Oh, boy, the clock running out. The infamous last play of the game. Last time.
My rookie would never.
We got Jared coming in. He's saying, like Rio says in general on his stream, what has Dak done for me lately?
So, Commanders fans, why don't y'all stand on this and say that y'all going back to the NFC Championship game? You're not going, bro.
We're going to the Super Bowl this year, bro.
We're going to the going at all. You will not even get remotely close to it.
This don't hurt me coming from you because you ain't even
we're not going, and you're not going either.
No, we're going.
You're not even getting close to it, bro. I'm sorry. I'm the one who sat here on the show and told Commanders fans that y'all was going to be playoff contenders last year. And I'm sorry to burst y'all bubble. Y'all are not going back this year. You're not
look what Jerry got Dallas fans.
You're not even getting close.
That man, this is what it sounds like. This is what it sounds like when you got a boycott documentary before the season starts.
Like y'all going to the Super Bowl.
Yes, we're going to the Super Bowl in 2025.
Put the solo cam because I want to crop this and make YouTube shorts out.
The Washington Commanders are going to the Super Bowl in 2025, and Jaden Daniels winning the 2025 MVP. I say it with my whole chest.
All right, there we go. All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
And what I will also tell you is that Dakota Prescott, it will still have 2 playoff wins at the end of the 2025 season.
I'm man to say we're not going.
Hey, man.
Yeah,
Hey, man.
Cole thinks it might be because Dak can't stop the run, unfortunately.
Hey, Tuck, watch the documentary, man. It'll make you feel better, man. Watch
See, that documentary got y'all all diswired right now. You know what I'm saying? You talking Super Bowl. You sound like Jerry right now.
I saw Lamar go win him an MVP in year 2. I watched Burrow take a team to the Super Bowl in year 2. I've seen Dakota Prescott not go to an NFC championship. We got one of those over here, man. The ascension starts in 2025.
See, I get Jay Tuck's like his arguments when it comes to the Eagles, but like with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, I just don't see the arguments because what Jaden Daniels did.
Right, but we've seen so many quarterbacks flash and disappear.
We're better
in Washington.
We're better this year.
Oh, y'all are not.
Unfortunately, though, Rio, Linda's saying that, JD5, he just doesn't play defense. 55 to 23. JD 55.
55. That's his new
there's a lot of Philly fans. That's about all they can say. They're not all as
never
nuanced
seen
as Simone
What
that
else
can
do you
actually
need to
talk
say?
about the team.
I've never seen someone wear getting dog walk as a badge of honor.
Y'all got to do all this explaining. Why do I need to speak? The ring speaks. Super Bowl 59.
I get that.
Respect.
Y'all gotta explain stuff. I don't gotta explain nothing. My quarterback did everything y'all are saying.
Your team did everything.
Show up with this logo on. Where's that?
Your team did everything. Your team from top to bottom did everything.
Yeah.
Here you go.
How about this one, by the way, from Shadow Striker?
Hey, they be forgetting that's Black Alex Smith over there in Philadelphia. That's Alex Smith with a do-rag and 360.
Ultimate game manager.
It's a Super Bowl MVP. That's what it is. Okay.
Shadow's got one too, and we ain't never put him in these conversations.
He's got a statue though, Ria, which is kind of crazy.
He got a statue.
Legend.
Shadow Striker, by the way, this is I don't know how you're going to come back from this one, J Tuck. I'm looking forward to seeing how you do. Tress Way (parentheses punter) has more NFC Championship passing yards than Dak. Hurts ain't even throw for 3,000. Put him on the Commanders. They win 6 games.
He threw a dot to Ben Sinnott on that fake punt.
It's crazy, bro.
Oh man. Hey,
that's what they was in that blowout game. I feel you, dog.
Hey, y'all hit that like button. We got 700 people on YouTube alone, bro.
Crazy, including Twitter right now. We're about to touch down on 1,000, as Rio calls it, the best division in the league. Nearly 1,000 tuning in for these guys going at it once again. This is just the preseason, folks. Wait till we get after it. And by the way, that's next week. And oh, by the way, again, we got 2 divisional showdowns in the NFC East to kick things off. I cannot wait.
Me too.
It's going to be unreal. Next week, we are previewing. It's going to be something else. We got a lot of takes from the offseason here to back up, and those will start to be backed up or be completely ripped up next week when J Tuck's Cowboys take on Simone's Eagles, Rio's Commanders take on KB's Giants. The preview show coming your way a week from tonight, right where you're at, right here on the NFC East Roundtable YouTube channel. But for tonight, that's going to do it on another heated episode of the NFC East Roundtable. Once again, nearly 1,000 of you tuning in, and we can't wait to join you again next week. For J Tuck, KB, Simone, and Rio, I'm your host, Z-Bot. Thanks so much, as always, for tuning into the NFC East Roundtable, and we'll see you on the next one.
You heard it all.